Hello, my name is Mr. Arrowsmith, and I am your student's economic teacher. Welcome to my presentation tonight. Uh, Glad that your students are part of my class. Looking forward to having a great semester with them. Economics is a one semester course here at West Ranch High School. And what we're going to be trying to do with your students in regards to economics is teach them a little bit about economic terminology, economic theory, and then we're also going to talk to them a little bit about personal finance. And I'll explain that a little bit later on during the presentation. So let's get started. And I'll just first, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I grew up in Ojai, California. And during my sophomore year, my parents moved up to San Luis Obispo, and I had graduated from San Luis Obispo High School, and I went to Cuesta College, which is the community college on the Central Coast, beautiful community college. Went there for 2 years to kind of figure out what I wanted to do, and then I decided to leave San Luis Obispo and head back down south, and I ended up at Cal Lutheran University, and it was probably one of the best decisions I ever made in my life. Great university. Met a lot of great people there. My best friends to this day are my college roommates. Just amazing experience. I also got my master's in school administration from the University of Laverne. In 1993, I was hired at Pinecrest Elementary School in Van Nuys, California, to teach fifth and sixth grade history. A year later, I finally was able to get into the Hart District, and I was hired at Sierra Vista Junior High School, where I taught world and U.S. history, and was also the activities director at Sierra Vista. In 1998, I was hired at Saugus High School to become the activities director, and I served as the activities director at Saugus High School to 2004. In 2004, I had the opportunity to come and start the activities program at West Ranch High School, and this is where I've been ever since. About 3 years ago, I decided that I needed to retire from student activities and return back into the classroom, which I am very, very fortunate to do so, and very happy that I'm back in the classroom. I'm really, really enjoying teaching full time again. So that's a little bit about me and my experiences in that. And I've been teaching 28 years. It's been crazy, hard to believe, but it's been a great, great experience, and couldn't have asked for a better group of students throughout the years to work with, and staff and parents. So yeah, so let's go on. Let's talk a little bit about the units of study and what your students will be learning. So right now we're in our first topic, which is what is economics, and it's basically looking at economic theory, looking at economic vocabulary, giving them a good kind of foundation about economics. We don't go real in depth because a lot of these students are not going to be econ majors when they go to college, and I always tell my students, listen, if you really, really love economics, you should become an econ major, and you're gonna learn from some amazing professors, a lot more than I could teach you about economics. So I just want to give them a taste, an understanding about some of the terminology that we use: scarcity, um, uh, uh, opportunity cost, these sort of terminology, that just to give them a taste of what economics is about. We'll then talk about supply and demand and why that's important in our society and in our goods and services. And then finally, we'll talk about government influence upon the American economy and how the government plays a role in our economy as well. So that'll take us up to the first quarter, which is about the end of September. And then the second quarter, which is my favorite, is personal finance. And we're going to actually talk to the students to prepare them to leave West Ranch High School and go out to the real world. And there are some things they probably need to know. Now, you as parents are obviously going to teach them a lot, but I want to also help them out a little bit with some financial decisions they may have to make right away when they leave West Ranch. First of it is, which decisions they're going to have to make here relatively soon, is going away to college. If they decide to go away to college, how are they going to pay for it? Right? So we'll talk about that, talk about grants, we'll talk about scholarships, we'll talk about loans, college loans, because as we know, college loans is a pretty big concern right now for a lot of Americans, and the amount of money that's out there from college students. We're also going to talk to students who maybe don't want to go to college right away. Maybe they want to do something else, join the military, go to some sort of a practical art school, whatever it may be. We want to also give those students some options, and we'll talk to them about some of their financial needs they might need when they go, if they don't decide to go to college. We'll talk about taxes, which of course is a favorite topic for all of us adults, right? We'll talk a little bit about what the government does with taxes. We'll talk about what when you get that paycheck, what sort of taxes are taken out of your paycheck, and then we'll talk to them about how they file their tax returns. We'll talk about checking and savings, making sure that they understand what the difference is between a checking account and a savings account. We'll talk about saving, why it's important to start saving right now as a young adult. And then we'll talk about, obviously, about checking, ATM cards, making sure that you don't go over your limits and some of the fees that are associated with banks when you do go over your limit. And then finally, the last thing, which I think is one of the most important, is credit and managing credit. Getting a credit card. When you get that credit card, what sort of credit card should you be looking for as a college student? And then also talking about when you get that credit card, how do you manage that credit card to make sure you don't get yourself in trouble? And understanding the different, what's going to happen when you don't pay off that credit card right away, what sort of fees are going to incur. And so we'll really spend some time talking about credit and managing their credit. Very, very important things that they need to know, I think, when they get out into the real world, as they say. A little bit about my class. It is primarily we'll be doing things technology-wise, obviously on the computer. We will use the textbook a little bit, not very much, but I told the students we did get brand new textbooks this year, so I do feel that we should use them, right? So we'll use that a little bit, but primarily most of the stuff that we do won't involve the textbook. Obviously, some things they'll need for class is they're obviously going to need a computer, which most of them have, access to Google Classroom, which they all have. I will be using the Remind, and the Remind is a texting program, and I only will use it in emergency situations. If I need to get a hold of the students, let's say the internet goes down here at West Ranch, and I need to get a hold of the students, I can do it through a text. We will obviously use Infinite Campus, so that's where all their grades will be posted. That's where we do absences. So you as parents have a parent portal, so you can always go there and look at how they're doing with their grades and look for their attendance. If you don't know how to do that, contact the school. They can help you get signed up for that. Of course, we'll be using mostly the Google Suite, which is Google Docs, Google Slides, Google Sheets. So those are the things that are the essentials for this class that they should have technology-wise. Some other tech things as well. We use Zoom when we do our class sessions, so I wanted you to be aware of that. We use other programs like Jamboard, Padlet, Edpuzzle, Pear Deck, Nearpod, others. These are all programs that are out there to enhance the education, the virtual education program. They're so amazing. In fact, these are programs I will continue to use when we do have the kids back in class. They have some amazing, amazing things that we can do to enhance our the curriculum that we teach here. So really excited about using these programs, and I think we've already used a few of these in class, and I think your kids have enjoyed it as well. Please make sure your students has the right tech. If you have any issues with anything and you can't figure something out, please reach out to the school. They can help out. All right. Just a few other things. Zoom etiquette. Can you remind your students of some Zoom etiquette? And that's very important. We do automatically mute them when they come into the classroom, and most of them are pretty good about muting themselves. Encourage your students to make sure they're on time, because we like to start class on time. And we want to make sure that they are remaining positive, they're prepared, that they're patient, because sometimes when you're using technology, sometimes technology doesn't work. And so so far everything's been great, and your kids have been very patient and been helping me out when I've had run into some little issues. So that's been great. So continue to encourage that. Please encourage your students to find a quiet place, somewhere where they won't be disturbed by maybe a little brother or sister or animals, that they can easily focus on the classroom. And then please remind your students about chat. In Zoom, there is an area where they can chat. It is set up privately, and I let the students know that everything they put on the chat screen, I see. So they need to be very, very careful about what they post. And so far, everything's been okay. Just some other quick things about my class. Grading is based on points. Nothing is curved. There's no percentages or anything like that. It's strictly points. And points are awarded in Google Classroom, the activities you do in Google Classroom. And speaking of Google Classroom, all of you as parents should have received an invite to join my Google Classroom as guardian and parents. If you did not, please email me, and I can get you access to that. What that will allow you to do is it will send you a weekly summary of what your students have done in Google Classroom for the week. And so you can kind of keep track of them and making sure that they're doing their work. We also will do a couple class projects in here, individual class projects, relatively simple, nothing to really worry about. Quizzes and unit tests. The one thing that I make sure that everybody knows is that late work must be turned in before we take the unit test. So if we take a unit test in our class, once we take that unit test, all the work for that unit that we took the test in cannot be turned in after the test is done. Okay, because I don't want to be in, trying to accept work in December for work that should have been done in August. So once we finish the unit, I'll make that announcement to the students. Hey, if you have any late work, get it in before we take the unit test. And once we take the unit test, we're done. We're moving on. There may be some possibilities for extra credit. We'll see how that goes through the semester. All right. How to get a hold of me? Easiest way is through Mr. T. Arrowsmith at heartdistrict.org, or you can go to the school website and find my name and contact information through there. I am actually here at West Ranch teaching, so if you need to get a hold of me, you can call the school, and my extension is 510, and my office hours are from 1:40 to 2:45. If you need to get a hold of me during class hours, just send me an email with your name, class period, and any pertinent information I need to know. I will try to get back to you during my office hours. Anything after school hours, you can again send me an email, or your students can send me a message through Google Classroom. Other than that, that is it. If you have any questions or more personal questions, please feel free to send me an email, and I will get back to you as quickly as possible. Have a great day, and I will talk to you soon.